And I'm Harbor.
And today we're going to be reviewing our D23 predictions. So last episode we were kind of going over predictions, what we thought we might see, what we were hoping to see during the Disney Experience Showcase Horizons. We saw some really good stuff. I'm really excited to go over all this.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at a few things. And yeah, some of our predictions did come true. Some of them did not. I mean, obviously, how could they not do the Sid's Hostel Family Coaster? But some good stuff in there,
man.
though.
We'll have to. Maybe it wasn't on their radar. Maybe we just need to send someone an email. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. D20. Well, I mean, D23 is still going on this weekend when we're recording, but last night was the Experience Showcase, and it was hosted by Neil Patrick Harris. And yeah, we learned mostly updates of some things that we already knew was going to happen, but then had a couple little surprises in there, and I'm excited to talk about those.
Yeah, so I figured we kind of do like a general overview. Now we're going to focus mainly on Disney World here in Florida because that's our home park, and you know that's what we know and we love. But we are going to run through just a general overview for people that listen to the show that maybe like to go to Disneyland or Tokyo and things like that. But so just a real quick general overview. Yep, it was hosted by Neil Patrick Harris. They had a lot of famous guests. That they had like one of them was Tig Notaro. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She was the comedian.
I was really surprised to see her at like a Disney event because she's kind of this. I don't want to say she's super edgy or anything, but not someone you would usually see at something like D23. But she was good. I liked her performance.
But you know who I kind of was not surprised to see was John Stamos.
Oh yeah, he shows up at every Disney event.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But some of the musical acts they had, Los Lobos played in conjunction with Encanto stuff and all that. Or
it was Coco.
Coco.
Yeah.
And I put this on here because one of my favorite bands, The Bronx, does a side project called Mariachi El Bronx.
Yeah.
And the guitarist from Mariachi El Bronx is the son of the singer of Los Lobos. So just like a
interesting
6 degrees of separation there, Kevin Bacon thing.
That's like this doesn't have anything to do with Disney, but like Max Weinberg from Conan's band back in the day. His son is a drummer and has been in like all these metal and hardcore bands. Like I think he was in Slipknot for a while. He was in Madball.
That's always hilarious to me when you've got someone that's like as musically talented, like orchestral and all that, and then their son's like in a death metal band or something. Yeah. That's awesome. Another, and then they had a bunch of musical acts, but also Beck came out, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm not a huge Beck fan, but to see him on stage, that was.
I liked his performance, so it was a cool vibe.
A couple other things we'll run through real quick. Tokyo Disney's getting a couple new rides. They're getting the Space Mountain Earthrise, and they're also getting the Wreck-It Ralph ride. I don't know how I feel. Like sometimes I look at what all the other what they're getting in Paris and Tokyo and all that, and I'm like, man, I want that here. But then we'll get into what we are getting. It is.
You look at how much stuff is coming to Disney World, and we are not.
We're not.
There's
lacking.
like a phrase for that. I can't remember what it is, but we're kind of spoiled right now.
We're doing good.
We're doing fine as far as all the projects going on. That Space Mountain Earthrise does look really cool, though.
Yeah,
and I'm sure we'll have to bring that up here in a little bit.
We're getting not we, but Hong Kong's getting updates to the Stark Expo. Shanghai is getting the exclusive Spider-Man ride. I guess it's the only ride so far across all the parks that's dedicated to Spider. Actually, I think it's like almost like a land.
It's a land. That's what it is. Because they do have a Spider-Man ride at California Adventure.
Yeah.
I haven't heard good things about it. It's not as. It's basically it uses the same system as Toy Story Mania, but it's like you shoot webs at spider bots.
Okay.
And I've heard mixed reviews on that, but honestly, I didn't. I got home late last night and had to like kind of skip through some of the non-Florida focused things.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see I saw them doing some of the like graffiti art for
that looked
the
pretty
land.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it'd be great. It'd be great to have another Spider-Man ride. We won't ever have one at a Disney park in Florida unless something changes with this whole. There's a whole contract that Universal has with Marvel that precedes their Disney buying Marvel, so that'll strictly be that won't ever come here unless there's a big change.
I don't know much about Avengers Campus, but they're getting an expansion with the Avengers Infinity Defense. I don't know a whole lot about that. I'm not a huge Avengers guy, but
Me neither.
I do like the theming, and there's a lot you can do with the rides. So I think that will be pretty cool. Paris is getting the very first Lion King. I'm assuming it's going to be a ride because it's not the first attraction, because we do have like the Festival of the Lion King at Animal Kingdom, which is just like a Broadway style kind of show. Well, not Broadway, but it's more like a Cirque du Soleil kind of show.
Yeah.
But I guess this is going to be like a ride.
It's basically like Tiana's or Splash Mountain, except it's Lion King.
Yeah, I know. Man, it just boggles my mind that we haven't got something like that here sooner.
Well, yeah, I mean, when did we talk about that? I can't remember if that was when we were talking about the lands or when we have our lost episode. Or last episode I talked about how I think eventually there will be a Lion King ride in Animal Kingdom, but I don't know if they'll bring this particular one because it has so many similarities to Tiana's Bayou Adventure that you'd have two of these like very similar flume rides at the same resort. But I think eventually we'll get an Animal Kingdom. I'm sorry, I think we'll get a Lion King ride at Animal Kingdom eventually.
And then the last thing I got on the overview here is my family are big Disney cruisers. They're expanding their fleet. They're going to have up to 13 ships by the end of 2030, and they're introducing an entirely new class of ship, which is pretty cool because if anyone knows cruising at all, different classes are just different. The different sizes, and the bigger the class, the more amenities they have, the more passengers. And the size of the ship actually dictates which ports they can go to as well, because only certain ports can accept certain size ships. So this one's going to be a new size that's kind of in between their mid-size and their biggest ship. So something right in between that's going to be able to visit a lot of different places. So I'm pretty excited for that. I think we're going to try to go on another Disney cruise this year coming up, but man, they're not cheap.
No. Did they give a name for the class?
No.
Because I did see that part, and they go to like a promo video, and I expected some kind of name for the class, and there was nothing.
So,
okay.
Well, and the other thing is that every single one of their ships look identical. They have the same scheming. So from that little snip they gave you, you wouldn't have known any difference between any of their ships. But anyways, I'm pretty excited for that, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of years as far as the cruises go.
Yeah.
But
overall, it was interesting to see this. I've only seen clips of past D23s. I've never watched one all the way through, and I think this is the first time they've ever like live streamed it. I think last episode I was like, no, you can't watch it, and then like a couple days later they announced that they were going to stream it. It was interesting. I thought I found some really good nods and some good homages to old Disney attractions that I thought was interesting, like the animatronics opening number. I was like, they went for some deep cuts because they had like Ellen from Ellen's Energy Adventure. They had dancers on stage that were playing as like animatronics, but they weren't. I mean, there were pirates animatronics later, but it was like two of them were from Spaceship Earth. There was one from the Great Movie Ride. So I was like, these are kind of deep cuts for the true fans out there, you know.
And I like the name of the house band, the Phoenicians.
The Phoenicians.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it took me a minute. I was like, why does that sound familiar? And I was like, oh, Spaceship Earth. Duh.
Yeah.
Okay. But anyways, let's get into it. So this is what we're really excited to talk about, the Disney World updates and some sneak peeks and things like that. So the very first thing that I've got on here, they talked about Carousel of Progress.
Yeah.
And the big announcement here are the voices for the mom and dad. Do they have names? Mom and dad?
I believe the dad's name is John. I can't remember
Probably just very generic.
I'm trying to remember like the dialogue. I can't.
I feel like a bad Disney fan.
I know that the father's name is John. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know off the top of my head.
Well, if he is now going to be voiced by Bryan Cranston, which this is hilarious because before my wife didn't get to watch it last night because she was working. She got home really late, so we were talking about it today, and she was asking me about the D23 updates. I said they announced some new voices. I said, who do you think's going to be the dad? She goes, well, I could totally picture it being Bryan Cranston, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And she was like, she was taken aback, but she got it right, Bryan Cranston.
I thought that was just perfect casting, in my opinion.
And then you're gonna have Jamie Lee Curtis as the mom, which I was trying to hear that in my head, but she's got the voice for it, I guess.
Yeah, and she's done a lot of Disney stuff lately. I mean, I know she was in like Freaky Friday. Back in the day. She was in the most recent Haunted Mansion movie too.
Okay.
As Madame Leota. What's also interesting about this is when they did this part, they showed a rendering or a concept art of the 1980s scene.
Yeah.
And 1980s takes place in Halloween.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's great to have Jamie Lee Curtis in Halloween. That's great.
I didn't put two and two together. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Did you notice anything else about, like, because they only showed what, the concept art for the 60s and like the 80s or something like that?
Yeah, there wasn't much in the showcase itself. Now, I've looked at some coverage of there's an Imagineering Pavilion at the D23 convention. So that's been open all weekend, where they've had like stuff on display. So they did have something for Carousel of Progress. They had the father's costume for scene 1, which is the 1960s, and it's heavily inspired by the original ending of the Carousel of Progress, which would have been like when it came out. It was the near future, so it would have been around the 60s. It would have been like late 60s. So I think it's like a red, or not red, like a yellow sweater. I mean, it looks very similar to that original outfit that the character was wearing at the end of the original Carousel of Progress. And then they had the mom's outfit from scene 4, which is like the distant future. It was kind of this, what do you call it? Kind of a robe type thing, but it was futuristic looking. Not like didn't look crazy, but it looked futuristic.
I do think it was kind of funny and clever that like in between, so they were doing a lot of announcements, and even when it wasn't Carousel of Progress, like Neil Patrick Harris was sitting down and he was acting as if he was the dad from Carousel of Progress, and his it's pretty spot on. Yeah, I thought it was it's pretty funny.
The whole, and we can talk about this. Well, I guess we don't have to, since it's not about Disney World. Disneyland is getting getting a refresh Tomorrowland, and there's two things. There was a lot of I feel like a lot of signaling in the show that you kind of had to pick up on. One is that the Imagineering Pavilion was at the expo was themed to the Carousel of Progress, and specifically like the 64 World's Fair. And so it had all this very like mid-century futurism stuff going on. And now I'm like, was that a signal that they were going to do a redo of Tomorrowland? You know, because it's like the whole thing is about Carousel of Progress and Tomorrowland and stuff. Yeah. And then the whole show was, the entire expo or the entire showcase was themed to Carousel of Progress. So it was kind of cool. They had, the stage itself didn't rotate, but it was like circular. Yeah. And then they would have, a background, the screen on the background kind of, showed movement, and it kind of had the same feel as the Carousel of Progress when they would like go to these new sections of the different chapters of the show. Yeah. And then old John Stamos comes out, and he's on a little stage that rotated out, and it was funny because it was that exact same scene from Carousel of Progress with the uncles in the bathtub behind the shade, and all you can see is the shadow, and then so he pops out and kind of takes over hosting for a segment or two. That's right. Pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting a whole lot of information because it's a pretty basic show. They've already told us like the timelines and everything, but it was cool to hear who the actors were going to be. The voice actors for the show. Yeah, that's a big deal because I mean, and the voice acting's always been good. Like, but it's classic. But obviously, like, I'm sure the people that did those are not able to, for whatever. No, actually, so the dad in the most recent one was voiced by Gene Shepard, who is the narrator on The Christmas Story. and I know he passed away a few years ago. I'm not sure when, but yeah, he's been gone for a while. So that was the thing. It was if they were going to update it, they were going to have to recast for the voice. But overall, I'm like A+ casting.
Yeah,
I think
that'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
Next up here, we got now. This is one of our predictions from the last show.
That's right.
We are getting a Spaceship Earth update, although it was very minimal. I was hoping they would show some concept art of like new ride system, carts, or anything. But basically, they're just kind of the only thing they let us know is that they're shifting focus in the story to more of a human interaction. So I don't know. That's super vague. But that's really all they gave us. It's going to get updated, and here's the premise of it. And that was, I don't know. Did you get anything else from it?
I didn't. The only thing is, I'm glad that they waited this long, and I know we still don't have a lot of details, but I know we have to keep it. We don't want to get too much into all of these, but I do want to give a little brief history of this. Of like, I think it was 2019. They announced this redo of Spaceship Earth. It was going to be part of the whole reimagining of Epcot, and that whole reimagining was they were trying to make Epcot more relevant, more Disney, more, I can't remember the other ones, but it was kind of making Epcot a little bit more like samey, like same as all the other parks. And when they were going to do it, they said that it was going to be around storytelling instead of communication. It was going to be around storytelling. There was like this idea of you would see this like story light go through each scene or whatever. That to me felt like they were trying to, again, they were like, we need Epcot to be more Disney. Like they were going to put probably some IPs and stuff in Spaceship Earth and stuff. They were very adamant that they said like, this is still going to be in the same spirit of the original Spaceship Earth. And even that small difference of communication and connection, instead of communication, they're doing human connection. I think that's better than them saying we're going to do storytelling.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot broader, right? And you can hit kind of more, I don't know, it's more about humanity than it is about what stories they think are cool at the time. I don't know. That's what I thought. And it makes sense to, like, I know the original thing was communication. All of the original pavilions all just had this corporate tie-in. Yeah. And now that that's not the case, to me, it makes more sense to say we're going to broaden it a little bit. We're not just trying to like sell you products from AT&T, So.
Well, you never know. It could be AT&T's human connection.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They might.
I mean, you got to be pretty excited though, because that was one of yours.
Yeah. I just wish I would have gotten more. I wanted to see some art or something. Sure. I mean, literally, they probably spent,
very short time.
30, maybe a minute, 30 seconds to a minute on this, I swear, because it was like, we're updating it. Here's the new focus. It was this. Now it's this. And on to the next subject. So maybe they just don't want to give too much away. Maybe they plan on canceling it again. Who knows?
I hope not. I think it's probably just, my guess is it's probably very early on. Yeah. And they just don't have that much to share yet. Yeah. Would be my guess.
Oh man, this is a big one. I text you immediately.
That's right.
when this one and by the way, I am kind of going in order of how everything was presented in the show. So
yes.
This was just so random for me in the middle of this presentation, but they're bringing back the actual moving, working Yeti to
Expedition Everest.
Expedition Everest.
Yeah.
And they did a nod to Disco Yeti. They had Gloria Gaynor come out doing her "I Will Survive."
Yeah.
But it was just, man, I just can't. They didn't give a lot of details again, though, so I don't know if they're just going to fix the one that's there or they removing it, putting something new in. I don't know, but it is going to be moving.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I was thinking back how, like, that episode we did about all the coasters at Disney, I was like, I don't even care if it's not moving. And now I'm like, well, yeah, if I'm going to pick, yes, I would like it. Well, I would like the Yeti to be alive.
Now that the option's on the table, I
think that's really cool.
I'm still wondering, though, because, again, like, if you didn't know that ride, like if you were a first timer and you were riding it, that does go by so quick. Like if you don't know where to look, sometimes you'll miss it. It goes by in a blink of an eye. So I mean, I wonder how much work is going to go into it to get it might last 1 to 2 seconds seeing that Yeti.
Yeah. here's another signal they put out, like a cryptic signal about the Yeti getting fixed. I don't know if maybe I'm the only one who caught this. So that opening scene about animatronics, right? And then they had a moment where like everything shut down. And who was the person who came out to turn it back on?
Yeah.
It was Joe Rohde. It was
Oh, yeah, Joe Rohde. Yeah.
like, again, who's said for years, like, I'm gonna fix the Yeti, like before he retired. I don't know if he's gonna fix it, but that was the clue. They gave you a little bit of a clue of like, Joe Rohde is coming out here to fix this animatronic.
That's hilarious.
So
yeah, he came out another time too when they were
Yeah, they
talking
did
about
like
the what do they call them when they make it the
Disney Legends.
The Disney Legends.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that and yeah, no information beyond that. Just that
Yeah.
the Yeti's gonna be fixed.
Yep, super excited about that one. They did give us a lot more details on Tropical Americas. Now, this is where we really start to get into some good stuff because they did give us a lot of information. Some of it we already knew, but we did get a lot of new information.
And and I mean, this is going to be the thing that opens next.
Yeah,
because it's next year.
Yes, and then so one of the big ones here was Harrison Ford did a little cameo, not in person, but he's there, so he is going to be the face of the Indiana Jones animatronics, and the story is going to be revolved around obviously Indiana Jones, but his version of Indiana Jones, not just like some made up, new artwork or something like that.
Well,
but
they didn't say, but I'm wondering if that means they're going to use that new, like projection face animatronic. I don't know if you've seen that where the Pirates at Disneyland they did. Yeah. I wonder if it's going to be like that, which I have mixed feelings.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that they showed was like a 3D rendering of his head, and I mean, obviously it was Harrison Ford wearing a fedora and whatever. I mean, but
yeah,
they didn't really let us know.
I hope it's just like a sculpted face, kind of like Jack Sparrow in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I would imagine that's what I would put my money on. But they also gave us a lot of insight to the story that's going to be taking place, and it does take place in the 1950s. It's going to be called Indiana Jones and the Myth of the Jade Serpent.
Yes.
They gave a little bit of backstory about it. I guess I can't remember if it wasn't Greek mythology. What is it? There's
it's Mayan mythology.
Mayan mythology. The guardian of the underworld or whatever is a giant serpent.
Yes, it's called the. I don't have it up here, so I can't. I'm not
I
going to
didn't
try
write
to
it down
butcher
either.
Yeah, it's like a mythic serpent.
Yeah.
From that protects the Mayan underworld, and the idea is that you're going to explore this temple because supposedly there's a portal to the underworld here, and they said in here that you get sucked into the underworld and then you have to try to get out. And there's what were some of the animals? There were bats. I have them down here. Bats, scorpions, snakes, and these are all animals that are part of, Mayan mythology that are associated with the underworld.
So, well, that makes me think because, like, obviously with dinosaur, you're part of like a tour or an experiment or whatever, and then you get, inadvertently sucked into whatever. Like, oh, you're chasing someone, right? I can't remember the damn premise.
You're trying to find that iguanodon.
Yeah.
And then like the Carnotaurus is kind of chasing you through a lot of it. Like he keeps finding you.
So, but I wonder how they're going to do that in here because they say you do get sucked into sort of like a time portal. So like, how do they go from you being...
Was it a time portal or was it just a portal to the underworld? I think they said...
Maybe it was just a portal.
I think it was just a portal to the underworld, and then they said like it's like a race against time to get back or something like that. Which, I mean, is still very similar to dinosaurs thing because you had to get back before the meteor hit.
Yeah, I mean, you go through a portal, so to speak. What it's basically you're going back in time or you're going through some sort of portal, race against the clock, and then you got to get back. So, I mean, basically the bones of dinosaurs. So that's why I still want to know. They didn't really show, again, like ride carts and things like that.
No, I think it's still... I mean, we can basically assume it's going to be the same ride system. It's going to be... Because Dinosaur and Indy at Disneyland share the same ride system. They actually share the same layout. Like the tracks are like the same... Like the track layout's the same. So, but really, the differences are going to just be the story. So, they did show they showed pictures of the progress they're making on the exterior. and that looked really cool.
Yeah, it is very detailed.
Yeah, very detailed. And I know, people going to Animal Kingdom now have been taking pictures like behind the walls. They're starting to see some of that stuff get put up. So, I mean, I like Indiana Jones, and I thought this is gonna be really cool to have Indiana Jones at Animal Kingdom. Something about this, and I think it's that idea of the portal to the underworld. All of a sudden was like, whoa, like that is gonna be awesome. That's gonna just really intrigues me that you're gonna just go to this deeper level. And I've never been on Indiana Jones at Disneyland. I know that there's, Indiana Jones always has this kind of, it's about an adventure and there's, archaeological relics, but there's always a little bit of the supernatural element in there. But yeah, the whole idea of kind of being brought into the underworld sounds really cool.
Yeah.
And I like that they're keeping it kind of edgy and a little scary. Because Dinosaur was pretty.
Oh, dude.
I mean, I wrote it as a 40-year-old man. I'm like, this is really scary.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't remember. It took forever to get my daughter. I'm so sorry. She doesn't like it when I talk about this kind of stuff. But it was scary. It was scary especially for little kids. Now, once you ride it the first time, whatever. But it to me again, it's like Space Mountain, where it jerks you around so much, like you're gonna watch your neck, right? Wear a neck brace, but
I just think so much possibility is what makes me excited about it.
Well, and the technology coming too, because I can foresee something like a mix between almost like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, where you're going, there's animatronics, but then there's like kind of video screens tucked behind the foliage,
Sure.
and a mix of that would be kind of cool, because if they've got Harrison Ford in it now, unless he's just the face of the animatronic, I imagine he's doing some kind of like acting,
maybe,
like
I don't know,
video work or something. But
I would hope there's not too many screens. That would be my preference. But as long as it looks good and it gets it done. So
all right, well, moving on. They are going to have another new. Well, they didn't have a carousel before. They had that Triceratops spin.
Yeah.
So, but they are putting in a carousel that's going to have 22 animals based on classic characters, and they did show all 22 of them. I didn't get a snapshot of it or anything, but again, it looks pretty cool.
Looks
pretty
good.
classic.
It's what is it called? It's like Carousel de Animalitos, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I didn't write the name down.
Hold on, I meant to pull everything up, but yeah, I think that one is pretty something like that.
Yeah.
Some ones that I noticed were, I know they showed like Eeyore.
Yeah.
I know Kevin's supposed to be on there from Up.
Yeah, I think I saw Bambi, things like that. I mean,
what's his name from Emperor's New Groove is on there.
The
Cusco.
Cusco.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And then Encanto. We got a lot about Encanto. And we got a name for this one as well, called Antonio's Fiesta de Encanto.
Yeah.
So this is all revolves around. It's supposed to take place like the same time as the movie. It revolves around the day that Antonio gets his gift, and his gift is to talk to animals. So I think there's going to be a lot of like kind of not a recreation, but in that scene in that movie, he opens his door and it's like a complete jungle filled with animals. So I think we're going to probably get a scene like that.
Yeah, and they did show some of the I guess I'm assuming they're animatronics, but they did show some of the animals that they are working on.
Yeah.
Like actual full scale models, if not actual.
I think they were showing
in the ride.
They had actual I know that they had actual animatronics that are going to be in the ride,
like a giant
on the show
capybara
floor
or something. It's like as big as this table. It's huge, and it's got the big cartoon eyes, and it did look pretty cool. And then we did get some concept art with a little bit of information about the ride vehicles.
Yeah, and then one other thing is that all the voice actors are coming back to reprise their roles.
Yeah,
they out on the. I don't think they showed it in the showcase, but out on the Imagineering Pavilion, they had mock-ups of the ride vehicles, and they're basically like pieces of furniture put together. So I know like the front of one is a piano and the back is like a table.
Yeah,
it looks very cool. They didn't tell us if this was a trackless ride system or not. I've heard two things of like, it could be trackless. It could also be on a track, but it's able to rotate and like pitch and all, which would kind of make sense because of some of the things that they showed us, there's going to be a lot of movement. It looks like.
Yeah, I mean they're big on to like with the Runaway Railway
Yeah.
and with Ratatouille, that trackless system. Like they're really big into that. And I mean, I know the concept art isn't showing exactly, but it kind of looks like it might be, you know, free moving carts.
Yeah.
But again, they didn't share that. So
Yeah. Well, here's what's interesting. So they showed concept art for the ride, and it has the ride vehicles kind of going up this staircase in the casita. And there's up at the top, there's the window, I think where usually the candle is. A couple days ago, some patents leaked from Disney where they patented this technology that is basically like an illusion of elevation, where they create this illusion that you're going up, right? But you're actually still at the same surface. But the patent has like a diagram. It is almost exactly the concept art for this ride. So we know for sure, like literally even just like the window at the top is the same. The stairs are the same. There's not Encanto stuff in it, but you can tell like it's definitely Encanto. So I think we can basically assume that there's going to be this illusion that you're going upstairs when in reality, you're just on the same floor. So expect that, I guess.
Yeah. And so you had mentioned this before that I think you said that they needed more family-friendly dark rides.
Yeah.
So I think this is what we're going to get here because there was absolutely no height requirement on
That's
this.
right.
So that means, I mean, obviously it's going to be a super gentle ride because even Mickey and Minnie Runaway Railway, like I don't think you could bring like, there's a height requirement for that.
I don't think there is.
Is there not?
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe there's not.
I feel like it's a little.
Well, because I think mostly the part where you get into the Daisy and you're doing the conga line, it's moving like I would not bring like a newborn on that or like a little baby.
When we went on it as a family, like my youngest was 3, and he was a little like he didn't really.
Yeah.
I think most of my kids weren't thrilled. Because
Yeah.
they, at the time, I think it'll be different next time we go back, but at the time they were not into types of thrills. So
there was a lot of movement on that ride.
Yeah.
So but anyways, it's exciting to know it's totally family friendly, no height requirements. So I'm assuming pretty slow moving, and not a ton of action as far as like the cart moving around and things like that.
yeah, and so that maybe it will just be trackless then, because if you had one that kind of pitched and yawed and did more of those movements, that it would probably
be a high requirement.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this one I'm pretty excited about. So
Yes.
Magic Kingdom, we got some information on Piston Peak, specifically a lot of information on the rides themselves. Not so much again the the ride type, or I think you were hoping that they would introduce like a whole new type of like track system or something like that.
Yeah, and there weren't a whole lot of details.
Yeah.
Now they keep saying this is a new type of ride system, but they haven't said what it is or what makes it new. And you did get to see you saw the model, right?
Yeah.
So before the presentation last night, I think it was on Thursday, they had the model out in the Imagineering Pavilion. And so this is a full-scale model of Piston Peak, and you can see kind of where it interacts with, where it touches the rest of Magic Kingdom, of Frontierland and Liberty Square, and then eventually what's going to be Villains Land. So when I saw it, I mean, there was a lot of things that got confirmed. We saw some new things. You mind if I talk about the model a little bit?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So, I mean, I think the concept looks really cool. Again, I talked about last time, I'm not much of a Cars fan, but this does look, if we're going to have a Cars ride at Magic Kingdom, I think this looks great. Like, because there's a lot of emphasis on nature. And again, this is in Frontierland, so it does need to have something, this kind of wild wilderness part to it. I'll let you talk about the flat ride, but yeah, a lot of attention to sight lines. I know that in some of the panels, not in the main showcase, but some of the Imagineering panels, they talked about trying to connect, Liberty Square and Haunted Mansion, which is supposed to be like upstate New York. And then you have like Tiana's Bayou Adventure and Thunder Mountain, all these regions in America. And I think that's why they went with national parks, because of course there's national parks everywhere
Yeah.
in the United States. So it does kind of have this unifying look to it where when you come into Liberty Square, mostly what you're seeing is trees, and this is all going off the model, of course, but it's mostly forests. And then in Frontierland, you can see that's where Piston Peak itself is, and it's got a snowy peak to it. And then if you walk over to Tiana's Bayou Adventure is more just kind of water, and then off to the side is another water feature, a waterfall. And then over by Thunder Mountain, it blends into that kind of orange rock work, and you have geysers and things like that. There's a lot of water.
I was going to say, I think we're going to see a lot of water features, probably a lot of geysers just around.
Yeah.
I didn't specifically go into that detail with the model, but from what they described, like there's just going to be geysers everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Couple things. So we talked about last time about what's that building going to be behind Haunted Mansion. Is it going to be a Haunted Mansion parlor? Is it going to be more queue space? It's actually just going to be a bathroom for Piston Peak. So little disappointed, but that's all right. Actually, I'm not that disappointed. I didn't really. I could have gone one way or the other, but everybody needs a bathroom, so that's fine.
Bathrooms are important.
Yeah. One of my predictions was that it was going to be, there's going to be 2 pathways to Villain's Land, so it'll kind of make this figure 8. We didn't see a model of Villain's Land, but you can tell there's 2 paths going to Villain's Land, at least from what I saw. There's some nods to Tom Sawyer Island. There's things like they're going to put some barrel bridges at some point that you can walk through. I think that's near the flat ride. There's like this walkway into a cave, like over by the mountain. And I don't know, they didn't tell us what it's going to be, but I'm wondering, is that going to be an exploration trail? Is it extended queue space for the ride? Is it an exit?
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get some information about that, but I'm hoping they put some exploration areas, or maybe even like like they did with the animation courtyard, like an indoor playground.
I'm sure they will, because I mean that area is pretty big to just have 2 rides in there. So I imagine that they're going to have some kind of almost like the Moana exhibit over at Epcot, where you just kind of walk through there, like something kind of chill. And, that would be nice, because we're only getting 2 rides over there. And we can talk about those a little bit if you want.
Sure. Yeah. Let's.
So they did reveal the names on some of these. So the first one that we got is Mrs. Fritter's Daredevil Spin Along, which is going to kind of be obviously in the movie it's a demolition derby, so it's going to be a demolition derby type themed ride. I was kind of speculating on the ride type. Now they didn't, or the ride system, but they didn't really talk too much about it. But when you look at the model, it has, and we got the concept artwork, because it's going to be a big animatronic.
Miss Fritter.
It's
like a school
bus.
Like
the big school bus. And at some point, and in the concept art, it looks to me like it's almost laid out like bumper cards. I don't think it's going to be bumper cards, but that's what it looks like. It's just, it had Mrs. Fritter, and it had a bunch of concrete and a bunch of different cars just kind of scattered around.
I mean, it's basically a flat ride, kind of like Aliens Rolling Saucers, I think, without the whip part, though. There's a flat ride at Disneyland Paris that's also Cars themed. A lot of people are saying it's probably that, just with a little bit of different theming.
But the concept art looked cool for that. But the one that I'm really excited about is the Cars Ridge. Is it Ridge Run Rally? This one's going to be awesome, because you're actually starting at the bottom of the mountain. You're working your way up. They did talk about it. It's going to be bumpy on the way up. You make your way up the side of a mountain. When you get to the top, it's going to be kind of snowy and icy. So I imagine there's going to be some kind of slipping and sliding elements up there. And then on the way back down, you hit these camelbacks, which, if anyone knows what those are, like in BMX bikes and motocross, it's the big bumps like that. Obviously, it's going to be bumpy, but I'm sure some kind of smooth at the same time. And then you're going to be racing through geyser fields on your way to the end, where you end to Mater and Lightning.
Yeah,
in some capacity, which we were talking about, maybe them reusing that animatronic from the other show. So
yeah, it looks really cool, especially because it's not Test Track, and it's not even Radiator Springs Racers at California Adventure. It's different because it's going to be like off-roading. So I think it'll be pretty unique. Now, the they didn't really give us any specifics about the ride system. From the model, you can tell that it does run on a track, so it's not trackless or anything. So I don't know if it is going to be kind of like what we talked about last time, maybe a mix of test track and dinosaur, or if we're talking about a new ride system.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess that would be a new ride system, but something similar to that.
The way that it was described to me, it's like if you took test track and you just rethemed it like cars and you put it like you're outside. I mean, all of the elements that he described are in test track. You're going to, there's this, we're testing over the bumps and then the outside. I mean, even the traction test, you're spinning around. And so I imagine something like that up at the top when it's like snowy and icy. But I have no clue. And I hope, it looks like it's just going to be individual carts. So probably 4 to a cart. You're inside of a car's character. Probably just some generic.
I think it's six to a car.
6 to a car?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then originally people thought there was gonna be like a head-to-head racing element like Radiator Springs at California Adventure. This seems like, from everything we've seen, it looks like it's just a single line. So I'm not sure how that's, unless they have maybe a scene that we're not seeing yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, rallies are usually kind of like that too. They're like, one will start, and it's more of a time-based thing than a head-to-head competition. So,
see, I didn't know that. That makes sense. Okay.
That makes that. Yeah, it does. It does make the ride make more sense.
So that's why they're calling it a rally.
Yeah. So basically, you start, the timer starts, and then the person behind you would start. Their timer starts, and it's basically a race against the clock. But yeah, so that sounds awesome. It sounds like it's going to be a pretty serious thrill ride, like a good thrill ride,
or like at least like not like a rock and roller coaster type thing, but more. Yeah, it's going to have some thrills and bumps. It's not going to be. I
think it's going to be Thunder Mountain-ish, like that kind of thrilling.
Yeah, And one more thing I wanted to add about the Daredevil ride. It looks like they're going to have some kind of water element to it, of it maybe spraying you or something. At least that's what it looked like in the model. Which one of my notes was, because there's no cover on it. I said like I put in my notes like, they need to add a cover or else you will become a fritter, like sitting there in the sun. But if they're gonna spray you with water at the same time, maybe that's how they're getting away with not covering the ride.
Yeah, and the other bummer too is all the lightning storm. Both of these rides are going to be probably prone to shutdowns a lot.
That is
being
true.
Outside, especially if you're there during the summer. Just get ready for probably a lot of downtime.
Unfortunately.
We still got a good bit left to get through. So let's move on to Monstropolis. Again, extremely excited for this one. We got a little bit more information about the show that's going to be in there. Welcome to Monstropolis theme song by Randy Newman, which they said this is the first time he's ever composed a song for a theme park, not just a movie. I think we talked about this before. It makes sense for it to be in the old Muppets 3D theater. They gave us a little a walkthrough of current like construction going on, and it's really hard to see anything because it's just literally scaffolding. But one thing that he said was it's going to be hosted by Mike and Sully. And at one point he says, hopefully it doesn't bring the house down. If everyone recalls in Muppets 3D at the end, the walls are, there's holes in the walls. So I wonder if they're going to bring back some elements like that to this show.
It could be. Yeah. And they teased, I don't know all the character names in Monsters Inc., but the guys in the yellow hazmat suits are kind of freaking out. It seems like that's the premise, is like, they're bringing humans into Monstropolis for the first time, and this is kind of like the welcome show, but not everybody is too happy about it, or not everyone is so sure that humans aren't dangerous. So then there's probably going to be some elements where, maybe those guys run in and try to take over the show or something. I don't know, but I'm glad that there's some like conflict, because sometimes some of the newer Disney stuff, I think of like Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which I enjoy, but like there's no villain or anything. They've cut out which we can talk about when we get to Villains Land, but sometimes they've left out villains and rides and stuff. So this will be good that we have at least some tension.
I think that's where we'll see that is in this this show.
Yeah. Now they didn't say if it was going to be 3D or not.
They did not, but it only makes sense. I'd put $100 on it that it's going to be some kind of 4D experience.
Yeah, I tried to look at the concept art and see if anybody was wearing 3D glasses. It didn't look like it, but it's concept art, so you never know.
I prefer it not to be 3D, but I think it's going to be again kind of like the I always forget the name of it. The Bug's Life, the new one.
The Zootopia.
The
Zootopia.
Better Zoo-gether.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something like that. But
Yep.
again, we'll see. A couple other little things. I believe where the Pizza Rizzo is, it's going to be Archie's Scare Pig Pizza.
Archie's Scare Pig Pizza.
That
I guess
is-
that's a
That is how they said it. It's yes. Oh, it's Archie's Scare Pig. So yes, that's in the one where they go to college. It's the mascot for the other.
okay
I'm not even going to
fraternity,
Yeah.
sorority.
At one point they go and steal it. So that's that pig.
Yeah, so that's where Pizza Rizzo was. That's basically.
I'm assuming that's where Pizza
Yeah.
Rizzo. I mean, they didn't say, but it makes sense to have a pizza place where an old pizza place used to be. It's
Yeah.
already set up for it.
So you can still get your same
Yeah.
Pizza Rizzo pizza, but it's
Yeah.
just Monsters Inc. now.
They introduced something called Monsters University Alumni Club, which inside is going to contain something else called the Elite Scarers Club. I don't know if this is going to be some kind of little bar.
I wonder if it's a meet and greet. That's what I kind of felt like, because if it's like a club for alumni, then they would be there hanging out. So then you would get Mike and Sully there, right?
Okay.
So that might be where you go to meet Mike and Sully. That would be my guess.
It would also be cool if it was a Monsters theme bar.
Yeah.
You're going to get a new souvenir store called the Scareporium. And then what we talked about last time, the actual Harryhausen's restaurant is coming.
Yes.
And they talked about in the movie, there's an octopus in the back that's like making the sushi and things like that. So they're bringing that to the restaurant. Although they showed the concept art, but I'm wondering if it's going to be again like a video screen or a big animatronic.
It's going to be an animatronic.
Okay.
So they posted a video on, I don't know if it was Instagram or YouTube, but there's going to be an animatronic octopus. They actually have it already made, and they're like running it through its kind of programming right now.
Yeah.
So, and that's the other part of this, is that this part of Monstropolis is going to open next year. It's opening in 2027. So everything except for the door coaster. So that, I was not predicting that. I've heard that maybe they would open it in phases, but I didn't expect this part to open so early.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it's kind of weird that they would open it before it's 100% complete.
I think it's just because they need the capacity at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
Would be my thing, because they just need, especially, they had Muppet Vision there, and it's not like they lost a ton of capacity when they closed it, because it wasn't a super popular attraction. But the fact that this is going to be something new, I think, is going to take a lot of the crowds and disperse them. So.
And speaking of the door coasters, one of the bigger announcements I was extremely excited about was we got some more concept art and a little bit more information about the actual ride itself. Now, we always knew it was going to be a suspended coaster and, a little bit about it, you did mention in the last episode about how it's going to lift you up. But what they didn't tell you is that it raises 40 feet in 4 seconds. It's a drop ride in reverse. So this is going to be the first time I've ever been on something that like pushes. Now, I guess Tower of Terror, a little bit after you drop, it raises you back up a little bit, but I don't think it does 4 stories.
But in Tower of Terror, you're like seated with your feet on the ground. You're going to be suspended, so your feet are going to lift off the ground. So that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that'll be awesome.
So it's going to lift you up 40 feet, 40 seconds, and then launch. So it is going to be like another launch element into the
door vault.
Yeah, the door vault. So
I still imagine this will be kind of a family coaster. It'll be more like Slinky Dog, but suspended and in a show building is what I assume. I don't think this is going to be like a crazy, like a Tron or a Guardians of the Galaxy.
I don't think it's going to have any loops or corkscrews or anything like that. I do think it's going to be fast, especially because it's a suspended coaster, and I've never been on one that wasn't like pretty thrilling. But I think you're right. I think it's going to be a mix between. It's not going to be like a rock and roller coaster, but it's going to be a suspended coaster that's going to be more or less, probably got a low height requirement maybe.
Yeah.
Yep, and then again, opening in 2027, at least part of it.
Yeah, I imagine the coaster is going to be 28.
Yeah,
my guess.
And then we've got the official announcement for not the official announcement, but the official name, because I guess up until this point, like and I don't know if this is news, but they were like, "Hey, we finally landed on a name. It's Villains Land."
Yeah.
And I was like, I thought we unless we've just all been calling it Villains Land, assuming that.
Yeah.
But they officially dropped the name as Villains Land.
I'm so glad they just are calling it Villains Land and not like, you know, haunted Villains Grove, a story of blah blah blah, whatever. They always make these really long titles for things. I mean, even like the Tropical Americas ride sound really cool, but some of the names are a little wordy. Like the Indiana Jones one.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I can't even remember it off the top of my name. And you always end up just saying, "Oh, we're going over to Star Wars Land," right? So it just makes sense. And one of the reasons they said is it's Magic Kingdom. It's a castle park. All the lands are already called something land,
except for Piston Peak.
Well, but even that's part of Frontierland. It's kind of a mini land within Frontierland. I
got you.
Yeah,
it's not its okay. Well, I'll give you that one. Yeah, it makes sense. All right. I'll give you that one.
I know. I mean, I've heard people say all the time, it's Cars Land. It's like, well, it's not technically its own land, but
yeah.
We
did get a little bit of backstory on the story introducing the land. You're going to be entering a dark forest. You come across the story is that someone has entered the dark forest and come across a broken wishing well, and then they create this evil wish, and it affects the surrounding areas with this poison magic. So I imagine when you walk into the land, we have seen the concept art for like the twisted dead trees, and they did show the well, like a rendering of the well. So I think you'll see all those elements when you walk in.
Yeah, and they had some of those. They had maquettes or models of some of the trees that are going to be there, and they're inspired by Snow White with the guardian trees or whatever they're called. Mm-hmm. But they look good. They look very cool.
Yeah. They said it's going to be on scale with Galaxy's Edge as in terms of like not size necessarily, but like immersion.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be bigger than Galaxy's Edge, honestly.
I mean, they've got a lot of land
space. Yeah.
So yeah, on scale with Galaxy's Edge, which is awesome because that's a super probably one of the most immersive. Because I think you're gonna have the villains walking around too, like on a normal basis and interacting with you, like totally in character. I think it's gonna be awesome. There was a viral, I think it was out in Disneyland. There was a cast member that played Maleficent, and she was just like super rude, but she was very quirky and like always had these awesome comebacks, and she went viral for it. So I hope to see something like that here.
Yeah, one of the things they said too was that each character that they're going to use, or a lot of the main characters, are going to have their own layer. So I'm sure there'll be some kind of like cohesive style to it, but each of the characters that are being featured will have like their own little layer that's probably going to be kind of individualized to them. Yeah. So that sounds cool.
Next thing we got, they introduced a new coaster featuring Maleficent. So not the Emperor's New Groove coaster that we were assuming.
That's right.
But this is going to be a much darker. Obviously, Maleficent is super evil. It's going to be a race through the Enchanted Briar around Mountaintop Forest. So again, sounds like it's going to be kind of a high speed ride.
I think so. Did they showed some concept art, and then afterwards they released some pictures of the model. Mm-hmm. Did you get to see the model?
No.
I mean, it looks very similar to what was in the original concept art for Villains Land. I'm guessing, and they kind of hinted at this, they said that there's going to be portions of this ride that do things that other Disney coasters have never done.
Okay.
I feel like this might be more of like a Universal type coaster, like almost Velocicoaster or Hagrid's or something like that.
I kind of hope so.
I hope so too. Because, and they even said like, we've got some rumors to address during this part. Because a few months ago, the reason that rumor got started of this like Emperor's New Groove coaster is there's a journalist named Drew Taylor, and he published an article at the Wrap, basically saying the Imagineers are going in a different direction. They were told to like rethink this whole thing instead of you know, if you look at your competition is not the Monsters world at Epic Universe. Your competition is like Isle of Berk at Epic Universe, which is supposed to be a really good land, but it's more like kid friendly. It's more family friendly. So this whole thing was like, yeah, the coaster is going to be Emperor's New Groove. It's not going to be Maleficent. The dark ride is, you know, Maleficent's going to get the dark ride. And then there was also this thing that like they were going to do an Ursula spinner ride,
no.
which would have been
No, thank you.
yeah. And basically everything that came out was like, no, that was completely false. Like Maleficent still has the coaster. It still looks like a really intense coaster. And the dark, and we'll talk about the dark ride in a minute. Yeah. But basically everything that they kind of hinted at 2 years ago, it looks like it's still there.
I mean, Magic Kingdom has enough family friendly, you know, rides for all ages. They need like a real thrilling, and I mean, because even Tron is a fast. It's getting there as far as like coasters go. Yeah. But we need something. I can totally imagine this having like a loop or a corkscrew or something.
Yeah,
like I hope.
I don't think I saw one in the concept art, or in the concept model, but you never know. I mean, I do think it's going to be, from the looks of it, it looks more intense.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, and then you touched on in a minute. A second ago we got the dark ride, which we were kind of going back and forth on this one of what we saw and what we heard. But it's going to be, to me, it looked like a water ride when they showed the concept art. But you heard something different.
I read it. I saw a post from Attractions Magazine like right before we started that said like, this is not a boat ride. It is just a dark ride, because the concept art, the ride vehicle looks like a boat. Like it looks like it has a center line like a boat would, and it's got wooden slats and everything.
Well, I could have swore I saw ripples around in the concept art too.
That's where you're like, is it the fog? Is it like this green poison fog, or is it water? But I don't know. But they said they got that from an official person at Disney. Okay. So I don't know. It looks. Now I don't know what it's going to be, because once I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be that Shanghai Pirates ride. But I don't know now. So
what we do know is that it's going to take place in the catacombs beneath the Evil Queen's palace. And something I didn't quite catch as I was trying to understand it, but it was like the not exactly the perspective of the magic mirror, but it's like looking like from its perspective, or like on its side of the magic mirror,
something like that. It's part of that summoning of all the villains. Yeah, which was my prediction, by the way. That it was going to be all the villains together in one ride, which is also Universal. Their main ride in their like Monsters Land is Monsters Unchained, which is all the monsters together. So they definitely were not looking at Isle of Berk. They were looking at the darker side. So I'm glad that they're staying kind of more dark here.
And then, just to close out the Villains Land, this part threw me off a little bit. They actually had Glenn Close come out, who played, the original Cruella de Vil, or she didn't do the voice of it, but she played Cruella de Vil in one of in the movie.
Live action.
And she came out and did this whole thing. And it was funny and it was cool. And then at some point she mentioned like something about a ride, and then she left. So I was like, are they teasing a third ride, or what are they doing here?
She was like, you better get to work on my ride.
Right.
And everybody started cheering. And I was like, oh, there's going to be a third ride, and it's going to be the Cruella de Vil ride. Yeah. And then I looked at all like the Parks blog and everything, and there's nothing about it. So,
and because
like, I guess it's not a thing.
I get it, bringing her out. She's a villain, right? But like, what's the point of bringing her out and not like someone dressed like Maleficent? You know what I mean? Like something. So I mean, that's the only thing that threw me off, is like, if they're gonna bring her out and make a joke about creating a ride, either it's just that and it was just a silly joke, or
I think it was more just entertainment. But I could see them doing a show or some kind of other experience with Cruella de Vil, maybe like an evil bibbity boppity boutique, like you come out looking emo or something. I don't know.
Wow,
you could do that, right?
Yeah, man. Like all the kids are coming out with black hair and eyeliner. Yeah, okay, all right. Hey,
yeah.
Joe Rohde in the making.
Oh my gosh, I don't have the skills that he does. But.
Oh man. The last big announcement they did, I'm assuming for you they saved the best for last because I know.
Yeah,
I know you were excited, or you. This is something.
I am
predictions.
excited about this, but yeah, go ahead. You can.
Oh well, so they did introduce that they are going to be doing a kind of basically. I'm assuming redoing the Figment ride, but they're bringing back Journey, or they're doing Journey to the Imagination with Figment and the Dreamfinder, which is what you wanted. You were hoping that they would bring back the Dreamfinder.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. I mean, I got to be honest. So I know, like, I rode Journey to Imagination, the original, when I was a kid. I thought it was really cool. Again, I have this weird thing with Epcot where I didn't appreciate it much as a kid, and then I got older and I was like, man, Epcot was really cool.
Yeah.
You know? And that original Journey to Imagination was awesome. And if you go back and look at it, it was pretty ahead of its time as far as the ride vehicles and the animatronics. And it was a lot more, I mean, it was completely different than what Journey to Imagination is now. And if you know anything about a little bit about the history, it's like basically in the 90s, they needed to redo it. The sponsor was Kodak. They didn't want to spend a lot of money. And I don't know if it's true, but some people said that Michael Eisner hated Figment. He was like, I hate this stupid dragon. Let's get him out of here. So they redid it, and it was not good. And the original version, the one that is there now, is technically like Figment 3.0. And the one before it, there was almost no Figment in it at all. And people hated it so much that they took the second version of the ride and changed it as much as they could to reincorporate Figment. But it's nothing like that original. And Dreamfinder is more, they talked a lot about in this thing about optimism. Dreamfinder was very much just like optimistic, sincere type of character. It's not so cynical like I think the one now is kind of cynical, where it's like, hey, this stupid dragon keeps following me around, you know? So I think it's going to bring back some of that original Epcot vibe. And yeah, because that original early Epcot, a lot of it was very dry and very educational, and Figment was like the one whimsical thing in Epcot. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite ride, but I think with some reimagining, it could be, because I don't dislike Figment, and I never rode it with the Dreamfinder, but it seems like a very interesting character.
Yeah, I mean, basically, so the premise of it then was you would meet Dreamfinder. He was riding this like dream machine, and it was very like kind of steampunk. It was like not inflatable, like almost a dirigible, like, you know, it had the like balloon on the top. And his whole thing was taking ideas and creating things out of them. And in the middle, like at the beginning of the ride, he basically creates Figment out of his imagination. So that's why it's Figment of your imagination. But it was all about how everybody has imagination and like what it can do. You know, that's what that song One Little Spark is about, is like any idea you can take, you can create something new. And the ride now is basically just, I don't even know what the idea of it is now. It's more just like,
well, it's all about the senses, and
and
it's more of educational than like whimsy. I don't know.
Yeah, and it doesn't even really show you anything about the senses. It's more just,
well, you go through that when you get the rank smell.
Yeah, that is the one time they're like, in case you didn't know how smell works, here's what a skunk smells like.
Oh man.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be great. And I think overall, I've seen a lot of people say that they're disappointed with this D23 because there weren't any big announcements. But to me, this is more of like a punch list that fans of things that fans have wanted for a long time.
Yeah.
And they're just like, here's all the things that you've wanted to have at every D23 and we've never announced. And, you know, Figment, what was the other big one? The Yeti. for people in Paris, like the Space Mountain going back to the original from the Earth to the Moon. So it was. I didn't expect more because I knew that the last time they announced so many things and we were just mainly getting updates. But that's what I thought. I don't.
Well, that pretty much wraps up all the important stuff that we wanted to talk about. I wrote down a couple other things, but we're running real short on time here. So I'm just going to go through a couple of the things that we predicted that we didn't see. We thought possibly we were going to see our own Space Mountain getting a new theme or retrack.
That was really surprising.
Yeah. Did not mention anything about that. Obviously, we touched on the next two. We're not getting an Emperor's New Groove coaster in Villains Land, nor are we getting a Sid's Hostel coaster.
Bummer.
I don't know. Maybe. Never mind. I don't know. That one's just whatever. That's crazy. And then we. Oh, you were talking about the animation courtyard over at. You thought maybe we'd get some footage or some inside scoop of that new.
Apparently, they did show a picture of the new Olaf animatronic in the Olaf Draws part, like in one of the panels.
Yeah.
But yeah, they didn't have anything in the actual show.
And then the big thing was there's no Buzzy.
No Buzzy.
So
still.
Buzzy's still missing.
If you have information,
I should put a 1-800 number.
That's
down
right.
here.
Yeah, I was surprised by the Space Mountain thing. And actually, when they announced the Yeti, I thought it was going to be Space Mountain because they were talking about Paris and Tokyo Space Mountain. And then the parks chief came out and was like, hey, wait, I got to tell you this as well. And I thought they were going to say, we're redoing Space Mountain at Magic Kingdom. And instead it was the Yeti, which is great.
Yeah.
My guess now is that, we were talking about, are they going to retrack it or are they going to do something completely new? My guess is maybe we're just getting the retrack. Like they're just replacing the track like they did with Thunder Mountain. Because that's not something you would probably announce at D23, but you could announce it like a couple months from now.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's going to be down for a year as they retrack it. That'd be my guess.
But yeah, so I mean, all in all, I was impressed with it. I thought we got some really good information. I did not watch a lot of the other D23 stuff. My daughter did. She's a huge Percy Jackson fan, so they're talking about new season 3 of that. I did not watch any of the entertainment stuff, but as far as the park stuff, I mean, we didn't get a ton of brand new information.
No.
But we did get we did get some more concept art and some more backstories and things like that. So I was happy with it, and then of course the main surprise was the Yeti, and then the Figment ride. So.
Yeah, I think the thing that I looked at the most was just that model for Piston Peak.
Yeah,
I looked at it over and over because I was like,
yeah,
because when you look at that stuff, you try to they released all those concept art, that concept art the last couple years, and you'd always be like, well, what is that? What's that? And that model just gave you everything.
Yeah.
And so it looked cool, and you can just see how everything's going to fit together. Yeah. That's been the big question with Piston Peak is how is it going to fit there?
Yeah.
So,
all right, man. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, awesome information. Real excited about what's coming to especially our park. But don't forget to listen to us wherever you get your podcasts, like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us at Park Mapping on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we'll just we'll see how these things turn out as time goes on.
Yeah. All right. See ya.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this